Hey guys, and welcome back to another Nitecore Store video. My name is Josh, and today we're going to be looking at some of our most popular and recommended tactical flashlights, as well as going over what a tactical flashlight even is and what to look for in one. And so, like always, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel and will help you stay up to date on all new releases and updates here at Nitecore Store. And let's go ahead and jump right into the video. And now, before I recommend y'all any flashlights, I want to do my best to try and equip y'all so that way y'all can make an informed purchase decision by defining what a tactical flashlight is and what you should look for in them in terms of features, outputs, specs, and anything like that. And this, for the most part, should be synonymous and applicable across pretty much any brand. So what is a tactical flashlight? Unfortunately, I could not find a formal definition online. However, I think a good definition would be any flashlight that's going to be focusing on self-defense, as well as being durable, compact, and high performance. And in this definition, high performance is going to be an umbrella term for specs, meaning that a light is going to have a good runtime, output in lumens, candela, or throw, or a combination of the four. So then, what features should you be looking for in your tactical light? Looking at this definition, we're going to need to start with self-defense, meaning that we're going to need either access to an instant turbo or an instant strobe for lighting up the bad guy coming in front of us, making sure that he's blinded, or just making sure that all of our surroundings are lit up. As well as that, a good add-on would have to be a good strike bezel. Making sure that it has glass breakers is a bonus and something that I really look for. However, just any sort of crenulated bezel that might do some damage is going to be a must-have here. And then in terms of durability, I think a good standard to have is going to be IP68, meaning it's going to be dust-proof and waterproof. And then as well as that, 1 meter impact resistant is kind of going to be the industry norm, and so that's going to be passable here as well. And then in terms of something being compact, that's going to change depending on who you're talking to. However, I like something that's going to be under 7 inches long and then under 7 ounces of weight, meaning that it's really easy to slip into a bigger pocket and to clip onto your belt loop, with it being pretty lightweight. And then, as I said before, high performance is going to encompass good specs. However, I would also look out for lithium-ion batteries, as they're usually more powerful and more efficient than some alternatives, and you will see that reflected in your light's performance. And as well as that, I would also look for the batteries being removable, as if I was halfway through a tactical scenario and I ran out of battery, I would not want to just sit there and watch the light recharge. I would want to be able to unscrew the tail cap or whatever it is, put in a new battery, and get back to whatever I was doing. And so with all that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to the actual lights that I recommend. However, just as a quick side note, I'm going to be going over these pretty briefly because I do not want this video to be 2 hours long. And so I will have links down in the description to the full breakdown of all the lights that we are showing off today. So the first tactical light that I'm going to be recommending to y'all, as a surprise to no one, is going to be the P20iX. I would say if you are unsure at all about what to get, I think this is going to be a good overall light. You cannot go wrong with it. This is the light that I personally use. This is something that I use in my everyday carry. I always make sure that I have it in my backpack or in my pocket whenever I go out at night. And it's just overall a really nice light. It's going to have really solid run times and outputs. This light uses 4 Cree LEDs to output 4,000 lumens of brightness for really nice run times. I've never had this light die on me. And also, if you're new to the wide world of flashlights, a lumen is basically the brightness of a candle as a gross oversimplification. But to give you some idea of how bright this is, I will of course have some beam shots, but it's very hard to overstate how bright this thing is for how compact it is. And also, whenever it comes to self-defense, this has got you covered. It has a dual tail switch design, allowing it to have an instant strobe, and whenever the light is activated, it can access an instant turbo, making sure that you always have enough light around you. As well as that, inlaid in the bezel are going to be glass breakers, so that way if you're ever trapped in a car, in a bathroom, or just any room with a window, you can get out. The P20iX features a removable, rechargeable 21700 size lithium-ion battery, with this being the I series from Nitecore. This is going to be a proprietary battery, meaning that you'd need more in order to replace it. However, this is going to be because both ends are going to have a positive and negative side, meaning that it's going to be more stable within the light, meaning that you can drop it and throw it around, and this light is going to be less likely to lose connection or break entirely. So it is a little bit of give and take. While I do think that this battery is better designed than most batteries on the market now, it does come at the cost of it not being a generic battery. However, I'd be amiss not to say that this light also is USB-C rechargeable, and so I don't think that the fact that this is not a generic battery should be a limiting factor. The P20iX is compact, durable, bright, and everything it advertises to be, and more. However, that's not to say that this light doesn't have its downsides. Because of the shallow reflector and 4 LEDs, this light is going to be primarily a floodlight, meaning that it's going to have a very wide beam angle. However, that's going to be at the trade-off of throwdown range. Because this beam is not as focused, it's going to have a relatively low candela and a low throw at only around 2 football fields away. The turbo on this light is also going to step down after around 30 seconds with no smooth step down, which isn't my favorite, and there's only going to be one indicator light on the body of this light, which only flashes whenever you put a new battery in and shows your voltage rather than your percentage, which is not the most user-friendly in my opinion. But honestly, that's probably going to be all the downsides to this light, and most of them stem from the fact that this is a floodlight and it can't push light down range. But that's just not what it's designed to do. It's meant to be a floodlight. The P20iX is going to be perfect for first responders like EMT, firefighters, or police. Being able to get a lot of light really quickly all around you is going to be amazing, as well as some self-defense features, which are going to be, needed in that sort of job. As well as that, I would have this in a car readiness kit. If I didn't already have one, I would have a second one. So that way, if I ever get stranded in the road, it's easy to put down by my car so that way people can see me. It's easy to break out of my car if I need to. And then lastly, just for general use, and that's why I bought mine. I think that everyone can benefit from having a nice wide floody light, as well as having a little bit more self-defense in glass breakers and strobe, because you never know what can happen. And then my next recommendation is going to be the cousin of the P20iX, the P23i. This flashlight is going to have a lot of the same ideas and features as the previous. However, there are going to be a couple key differences I'd want to highlight. First of all, it's going to keep the dual tail switch operation, meaning that it's going to have the same instant access to strobe and turbo whenever the light is on. However, it also adds these fins, giving you an extra place to string your lanyard. The P23i is also going to be carrying over the same style of strike bezel with the inlaid glass breakers, and as well as that, you can now see that this light only has one LED. That's going to be recessed back in a large polished reflector, allowing this light to have a much farther throw than the P20iX. Because this light has less LEDs, it's going to be more affordable, coming in at only around $100. The single LED that improves the range as well actually doesn't have that much drawback on brightness either, as it only brings it down to 3000 lumens, meaning that this light is going to have perfectly respectable outputs, throws, and run times overall. The P23i is just going to be a very high quality light. It's going to be made out of aero grade aluminum alloy with a stainless steel strike bezel. It's going to be IP68 waterproof, 1 meter impact resistant, and very compact at a little bit over 5.5 inches. And as for some possible drawbacks about the P23i, first off is going to be these lanyard holds on the fins back here. I like them because I like having an extra lanyard point and the fact that this light is able to tail stand. However, some people do say that it can get in the way of activating this light. And as you probably could have guessed from the name, this model is going to use the same 21700 as the P20iX, meaning that this battery is going to be proprietary as well. And while it does still keep the USB-C charging, the battery indicator light is going to be the exact same as the P20iX, meaning that it will only activate whenever you put the battery in or out, and it's only going to flash the voltage rather than the percentage left, which I again find really hard to read and not the most user-friendly. However, in all fairness, these are just going to be nitpicks from me about this light. I love any chance I get to go out in the creek and go use it, being able to show it off, and it's just a super powerful, really nice hybrid balanced light. Because of the nature of the P23i, I'm going to be more likely to recommend this to law enforcement agents like Border Patrol and game wardens, as it's able to more precisely light up things further away. Other uses for this include a car readiness kit, again because of the glass breakers you can get out of the car, and once you get out you will have a flashlight, and if you have any sort of land that you need to explore, if you if you live on some acreage, then this is going to be great. With the hybrid beam shape, it's going to pretty much fit any sort of terrain that you need to go on. However, I wouldn't say that this light is going to be amazing for hunting, just because while it does have that hybrid beam shape and a longer throw than most lights, it's not going to be the most optimal. We have some other lights on this list that are going to be more suitable for hunting. And now onto a fan favorite, the SRT-7i. This is going to have a 3000 lumen maximum brightness and then a 634 yard maximum throw. The run times on this light are also going to be pretty good, and I sound like a broken record, but this is going to have the glass breakers inlaid in the strike bezel, and as well as that, a dual tail switch design. However, this tail switch is different as it has a plastic power button as compared to the rubberized power button of the last two, and as well as that, it has this tactile ring up here where you can adjust it, twist it around and adjust your brightness, and adjust your mode like going into tactical mode. And naturally, with the dual tail switch design, you will be getting an instant strobe feature from the tail switch. And a note on the tail switch, even though it has the tack ring and a dual tail switch design, it's surprisingly ergonomic. One might think that because of all they're trying to pack on this tail switch, it's pretty easy to get messy and confused back here. But I would say for beginners and veterans alike, it's pretty easy to get all the features down, and I dare say that it's tactical. Another feature I really like about the SRT-7i is going to be this USB-C recharging port. As it's going to be fully metal, it's not going to wear out over time like certain other rubber boots do, and it's going to keep that IP68 rating as well as a 1 meter drop impact resistance. And overall, just looking at the specs and the price point for this light, it's probably going to be one of my favorite medium-sized flashlights for just throwing light downrange. My only downsides are going to be similar to the last two, as it has the same battery indicator light and it also uses the same I-series battery. However, outside of that, I don't have anything to complain about it. The only other thing I can complain about with the SRT-7i is the fact that on its lower outputs, it's not going to have a lot of spill, and it's going to not be taking up too much of my vision. It's going to be very focused. But then again, that's what a throw light is supposed to do. And so the usage would be similar to the P23i. So any sort of law enforcement, especially if you deal with wide open spaces like Border Patrol or game wardens, if you live on any sort of land, if you deal with agriculture, if you want to go out at night and check your livestock, this is going to be great. And as well, I've heard a lot of people using this for hunting. Again, 634 yards downrange is going to be amazing, especially for anything that you're doing outside. And again, because of the glass breakers, this would be great to have in a car preparedness kit or just anywhere around the house if you need a bug out bag or anything like that. The MH25 Pro is probably the most casual on this list, not the most tactical, but it does have a tactical mode, so I figured it would be worth mentioning here. It has the furthest throw on this list, and as well as that, it's going to have decent run times as well as a really nice output. And like the other lights on this list, this is going to be IP68 waterproof, 1 meter impact resistant, and USB-C rechargeable from the back. And as well as that, this light fixes the problem of the first three by having these battery indicator lights, making it really easy to see both the output that this light is on, as well as the battery percentage remaining. And this light is going to be the most affordable on this list, right alongside the P23i, coming in at just around $100. Some downsides to this light then are going to be the fact that it doesn't have glass breakers. However, you could probably use this as a strike bezel, as it's 1 meter impact resistant, so you could probably keep using it after you hit something. As well as that, the tail switch side switch combo are not going to be the most ergonomic whenever it comes to changing your brightness. And as well as that, there's not going to be an instant strobe on this light, as to activate the strobe, you have to first activate the light and then hold the side switch. The MH25 Pro probably has my favorite beam shape of all time because of that super smooth UHI 40 LED. However, some downsides to it is the fact that it steps down pretty quickly and it's going to have a more green tint. However, as for some scenarios that you would use the MH25 Pro in, is of course going to be law enforcement. However, it might not be as applicable because of the tactical shortfallings, and of course hunting as well, because it would be a little bit, less laid back. You don't need instant strobe or instant turbo. It would probably be better fit for hunting, or you could even everyday carry it. And expanding on that everyday carry use, because this is a more laid back light, I could also see you using it for camping, trekking, or just hiking in general. Well guys, that's going to do it for my recommendations of Nightcore's tactical lights. I really hope that y'all enjoyed, and again, I encourage y'all to go check out the original videos of these lights. Links to the product page and the original video will be down in the description. I highly suggest y'all go check it out. I want to thank y'all again so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.